So let's talk about this 25 RR trade that I took yesterday. Pretty insane, and I'm going to go through exactly what I did. This is my process that I take for every single trade. As you can see, this was a pretty ridiculous trade. I had these all-time highs marked out. Obviously, we were heading towards them. This was the first swing high, and this was the actual all-time high on NQ, which is what I trade on Nasdaq futures, and I'm going to show you the whole process of what I did. So basically, every single day, I do the exact same thing every single day. This is what I do. I'll basically come into the session. I woke up at about 8 o'clock, so somewhere about here, and then I just came in and I marked out some of the obvious lows that I wanted to trade from. This is always the first thing that I do because I always trade from a sweep of liquidity of sell side, and then I target buy side. I do this all the time. I don't take shorts. I've got about an 80% win rate, 100k payouts over the past year, and about, God, I don't think I've lost a trade in about 2 months at this point. It's been pretty insane. But anyway, this is my process. I'm going to tell you exactly what I do, so let's get into it and how I took this 25R trade. I didn't take the full position at 25R, but I did leave runners for the all-time high because it seemed pretty obvious we were going to hit it considering how bullish we've been recently. So what do? I wake up, I identify lows that I want to trade from. So I woke up here, I identified this low here, and this low here, and this low here for places to trade from. But then I saw throughout the session as it was progressing in London session that it was pretty obvious that we were just going to, you know, keep going up towards all-time highs. As I said, this obvious swing high here was the last one on the daily before the all-time high, which was this line up here. And basically, I'm going to show you exactly what I saw so that you can see my whole process in real time. And I'm going to walk you through what's going on. So, this is my checklist of the things that I do to take every single trade. Really, really simple. Let's run through what we're looking for. So, I've identified the liquidity that I want to target, which is these all-time highs, because we're really bullish. We've been absolutely knifing to the upside the past few weeks. Pretty obvious we're going to hit all-time highs, right? So we're going up here, and then we come down. We create another swing low here. So I mark this swing low, thinking, okay, I do this on the 5-minute. I'm not too fussy with it. I just find the obvious lows. You don't have to be like super prescriptive with it. You'd have to mark every tiny little low here. Just go and mark the obvious lows. You can see this is an obvious swing low, right? So I've identified what I want to target above, and now I need to find a place to take a trade from. So I'm winding it on. I've got an alert set at this low, by the way. And then we come down and we hit the low. There, as you can see. And what have we got here? We've got ourselves, I've identified my liquidity above. We've got ourselves a sweep. And we've got ourselves a bullish reaction here, which is pretty nice. So from here, I want to see some momentum. And then on the next candle, absolutely fantastic candle. Look at this. This is what you want to be seeing. Really, really good stuff. So what have we got? Let's go through the checklist again. I've got my liquidity target, I've got the sweep, the bullish reaction and momentum. I've now got my inverted fair value gap, which is what I use for my entry for my model. You can see here we've created a gap in price. 1, 2, 3 candles here, and then the fourth candle absolutely blasts back over it, I should say. Passed back over it with the sweep of liquidity. This is also a 3 candle pattern V shape. So what that means is you've got 1, 2, 3 candles that create the gap, and then the next candle blasts back above it like this. Exactly the same as this. You can see it quite clearly here. 1, 2, 3 candles, and then blast back over it. So what have we got? We've got everything that I need to take a trade. We've got our liquidity above. We're super bullish. We've got the sweep of liquidity, the bullish reaction, the momentum. We've got the inverted fair value gap. We've got the 3 candle pattern V shape. So this is everything that I need to take a trade. The only reason that I didn't take this on all of my accounts, I took it on 3 or 4 accounts, 5 accounts I think, one of my sets of accounts. I usually copy trade 30 accounts and risk $200 per trade on them, but the only reason that I didn't take this trade on my full stack of accounts was because it was OPEX, and usually on OPEX, which is options expiry, the market is quite manipulated and it tends to chop sideways. But as you can see, this trade, obviously it didn't matter today, but usually this would be a rule for me where when you've got things like this coming up or you're just before news, you tend to want to size down in terms of accounts, in my opinion, because you don't know what's going to happen. OPEX is usually super choppy and manipulated, and you could quite easily see this come up and then come down and then come up and come down like this. You see it all the time. But anyway, everything that I needed to take a trade, I took this with about 5 accounts in the end. And everything, as you can see, was lined up. These are all my rules to take a trade. I've walked you through exactly why I took it. The only reason that I didn't take this with all my accounts was because, like I said, we're quite high in premium on the day here. I would have liked probably a bit of a deeper retrace to take something with all my accounts. Plus, it was OPEX and I didn't want to risk all of my accounts. So, I took it with 5 accounts. I risk $200 per account. So with 5 accounts, I'm risking like $200. I size for about halfway between the low and the gap. So if we do something like this where we come down and close back below, I'll usually just close for a loss. It hasn't happened in a very long time now, which is quite concerning. I think I'm going to get a loss sooner or later. But basically what I do is I just enter here. I target 1R. So let's go and find 1R quickly with this ridiculous trade. So as you can see, I took this with about $200. This is sized for about $200 risk. So I took this with about a mini in reality. I think I took it with about 10 micros, let's say. So basically I scaled half at 1R, which was here. So let's see what happens. So we come up and we hit 1R straight away in the space of about 10 minutes. Really, really good. And then at that point I go break even. I scale half my position and go break even. And at that point I'm like, it's a free trade. And then I leave runners for liquidity. So I took about $100 off here. So I'm still trading about $100. And then I'm just looking and seeing what happens. So we wind on and we come up and we hit the high. Beautiful stuff. The local high here. This is about 3R at this point. So I'm scaling more there. I think I scaled $200 maybe at $250 at that point. And I'm still holding like 2 micros at this point. Maybe 3 micros. And I'm just thinking in my head, well, this is a pretty good V shape after sweeping liquidity. My first target would be here. I'd be absolutely chuffed that we hit that because it would be 7R. Then we wind this on a bit more. You can see we messed around a bit, and then we came up and we smacked that next level for 7R, at which point I scaled most of my position because I didn't know whether or not, especially with OPEX, I wasn't, taking any risks, taking any chances with how far this was going to go. And I basically just left myself one more runner. So I've made about $500, $600, probably $700 on this trade at this point. You can see I've scaled some here, and some here. So probably up about $500, $600 in reality. But I've still got a runner, one more micro here. And we're up, almost 100 points. So this is still up $200. I've took this on my Lucid Flex accounts, which don't have consistency on funded. So I can essentially make as much profit as I want on them in a given day, and I don't have to worry about consistency for payouts and stuff. And then basically I just was like, you know what, I'm just going to hold this last micro and I'm just going to see if we can go for the all-time highs, because we've been so bullish recently. Every single time we open up for New York Open and stuff, we basically just went and knifed up to the all-time highs. And then as you can see here, if we wind this on, you will see that we just absolutely knifed all the way up to the all-time high. And I was also watching ES at the same time, by the way, because ES I would also hit its all-time high first, but then we just started ripping up for NQ's all-time high as well. So I was like, this is going to be good. I was just holding for this, which was 27R, which is absolutely ridiculous. I actually just started trailing my stop loss on the, I think it was on the 1 minute that I started trailing my stop loss after we hit the all-time high behind each of these candles here. So every time that we made a new candle, I just trailed. So I think in reality, I trailed to about here and then got stopped for a casual 30R, 31, 32R there. Basically one of the best trades I've ever taken. I'm not expecting this to ever happen again, but it just shows you the power of, trading with good draws on liquidity above the all-time high being the most insane draw on liquidity ever. And especially when you've got that much momentum and you're so close to it. You can guarantee pretty much that you're going to come up and hit this all-time high. So basically, like I said, the most insane trade that I've ever taken. This is actually, an unbelievably remarkable trade. And like I said, I doubt I'll ever trade another trade like this again. And I obviously didn't hold the full position for 32R. It was just a runner. But even a runner, even one micro from 500 up to 800 is $600, isn't it? Because it's 300 points is $600 with a micro. So that still would have been a good trade, even with one micro. So you could see this is my strategy. I've been trading this strategy for about a year now, and I've been having some absolutely incredible results with it, to be honest. I've had 5 wins this week. I've had 3 wins that were 5R or more, and I've had 2 wins which were scale half and break even. Like you saw with my strategy here, I do scale half my position at 1R and then go break even on the rest. And quite often, when we hit the 1R and then get break even, it usually does something like this and it saves me. I've not had a loss in a very long time. It's been a month or 2, and I'm waiting. That loss is coming. I know that loss is coming, but I've been having an absolutely fantastic time trading this. And I have got a community that I've just started. It's a free Discord. Go down in the description and sign up. It's at like 60 or 70 members so far. When we hit 100 members, I will do a giveaway for a Lucid account. So get in there. And if you do want to get alerts and signals for all the trades that I take, you can get them in the premium Discord, which is in the WAP down below. I've had about 20 people sign up for it so far, and there's a nice little community building there. It's been great. Everyone's been making money, and I've had an absolutely undefeated past few weeks where I think I've took about 8 trades, and they've all been winners. 3 of them were scale half break evens, and I think 4 of them were at least 3 or 4 or 5R, and this one was obviously ridiculous. So this was all alerted, by the way, this trade and the rest of the ones that I've talked about and mentioned in this video. I alerted this trade in the Discord yesterday, so you could have taken this and you could have done this yourself in my premium Discord. I did alert this trade. I said I was taking it with a few accounts because it was OPEX. I didn't want to risk all my accounts because I didn't trust price, because it was a fairly choppy session, so like going through Asia session here, so I wasn't super convinced that we were going to keep going up, but as you can see, this worked out ridiculously. And I thank you for watching. Make sure you go down below, get in this Discord stuff. Yeah,